Night clings to the highway like a heavy coat. The wind cuts sharp. Street lamps flicker in long, exhausted stretches of yellow. And through the darkness, a black SUV glides steady down the road. Not speeding, not swerving, just heading home. Inside sits Brigadier General Naomi Cole, off-duty, dressed in jeans, boots, and a faded veteran's hoodie. Her medals, her rank, her decades of service, all tucked deep beneath civilian fabric. Tonight, she isn't the woman who commands thousands. Tonight, she's just Naomi, a tired veteran driving home from a ceremony that left her with a lump in her throat and dust behind her eyes. She taps her steering wheel softly to an old Thames song, calm, collected, thinking about nothing but her warm shower and a quiet bed. But peace never survives long on nights like this, because two patrol cars sit outside a diner near the highway. Lights off, engines running, predators pacing in place. And when Naomi's SUV passes by, one of them flinches. Officer Dyer, a man who mistakes volume for authority and fear for respect. He nudges his partner, Officer Keene, a younger officer whose hesitation always annoys him. That SUV was doing 50 in a 45, Dyer mutters. He grabs his radio. And driving like she owns the road. Keene frowns. I didn't clock her. It looked normal to me. Dyer smirks. You don't need a clock when you have instinct. He flips on the lights. Let's check it out. People act bold at night. Red and blue explode across the highway. Naomi's rearview mirror fills with chaos. Her fingers tighten on the wheel. Not again, she thinks. She signals, pulls over, rolls down her window, rests her hands on the steering wheel, palms open, visible, steady. There's no fear in her. Only discipline forged through wars louder than any siren. But she knows how fast peace can snap. She knows how fragile dignity becomes beneath flashing lights. Dyer approaches with a swagger that smells of insecurity. Keene trails behind, eyes unsure, like he's still learning what kind of officer he wants to be. Dyer leans in. Evening, ma'am. Are you in a hurry or something? Naomi keeps her voice calm. No, officer. Is there a reason I'm being stopped? He stiffens. Something about her tone hits him wrong. Maybe because it isn't frightening. Maybe because it isn't apologetic. Maybe because it isn't submissive. He smirks, a slow, condescending curl of his lip. License, registration. Then he adds, quieter, harder, and lose the tone. Naomi blinks. Already tired. Already annoyed. She hands him her documents without a word. Dyer shines his flashlight straight into her eyes. You military? He asks. Yes. Active duty. His jaw tightens. Then you should know how to follow orders. A pause. A cold current moves between them. Now, he says, step out of the vehicle. Naomi's brows rise. She's been through armed checkpoints in foreign deserts. She's been questioned under missile fire. She's commanded soldiers through nights of pure terror. But this is the one thing she still hates, being treated like she doesn't belong. For what reason, officer? Dyer slams his hand on the hood. For talking back. Get out. The sound echoes through the empty road. Keene flinches. Naomi exhales slowly, the kind of breath trained soldiers use before closing their hearts to chaos. She steps out. The night feels colder. The wind is sharper. The humiliation is more familiar than it should ever be. Dyer grabs her arm. Against the wall. She doesn't resist. Don't fight. Doesn't raise her voice. She simply says, "You're making a mistake." Dyer pushes her against the brick alley wall beside the diner. "You're humiliating the wrong person," she adds quietly. "I'm tired of these so-called veterans with attitudes," Dyer mutters. "Everybody thinks they're special." Keene steps forward. "Sir, maybe we should check her ID again. Her badge. I said shut it, lady. Dyer barks. There it is. The disrespect. The assumption. The bias disguised as authority. Naomi stares straight ahead. Silent. Still. Unbothered. Because real power doesn't panic. Real power doesn't bark. Real power doesn't need to defend itself. It waits. 2 backup officers arrive. Confused. But obedient. They load her into a cruiser like she's a threat. Keen avoids her eyes. He knows something feels wrong. He just doesn't know how bad it is yet. As the car door closes, Naomi whispers, "Tomorrow will be different." And she's right. Because while Dyer is laughing with the other officers, while Keen quietly wonders what rule they broke, while Naomi sits in silence, counting her breaths like she counted seconds before mortar blasts, something is already set in motion. Something none of them see coming. Something that will flip their world upside down by sunrise. Because tomorrow morning, those same officers will be summoned to a military base. Not as heroes. Not as authority. Not as law. But as students. As subordinates. As men about to face the woman they cuffed. Her rank. Brigadier General. Her command. Thousands. Her power. The kind you feel long before you see. Naomi Cole isn't done. This story hasn't even begun. And when arrogance meets discipline, silence becomes the loudest punishment. The sun rises cold. Pale light drags itself over the military base gates, and over 2 officers who barely slept. Officer Dyer and Officer Keen stand outside their patrol SUV, uniforms wrinkled, nerves rattling even though they won't admit it. They received a notice at 0600 hours. Mandatory presence, special disciplinary hearing, 0700 hours location. Fort Ridge military base failure to attend will result in immediate suspension. Neither of them understands why. But Keen suspects. Dyer pretends not to. He adjusts his belt, chewing gum like courage. It's probably just some veteran's workshop, he mutters. Public relations nonsense. They probably want us to talk about last night's arrest. Keen's jaw tightens. Dyer, she tried to tell you we were making a mistake. Oh, please. Dyer scoffs. She was mouthing off. They all do. Keen takes a slow breath. She said she was active duty. And Dyer snorts. Active duty doesn't mean she can disrespect me. Keen looks away. He remembers Naomi's eyes. Calm, steady, too steady for someone being handcuffed. Not afraid. Not angry. Just disappointed. Like she'd seen this play 100 times before. Like she already knew how it would end. A soldier at the gate steps forward. You two the officers scheduled for the 0700 hearing? Yes, Keen says quickly. Dyer just nods. The soldier studies their faces. There's something almost sympathetic in his eyes. As if he knows something they don't. Follow me. The walk is long. Too long. Past the training fields. Past the towering flags. Past rows of saluting personnel. Keen swallows. Dyer, why are they saluting? It's a base, Dyer snaps. They salute everything. But Keen sees the truth. They aren't saluting them. They're saluting someone ahead. Someone important enough to shift the air. They're led to a large steel door. The soldier stops. In here, he says. No talking unless addressed. No exceptions. Keen nods. Dyer rolls his eyes. Whatever. The door swings open. And both officers freeze. The briefing room is silent. Rows of soldiers stand rigid. A podium waits at the front. And there she is. Brigadier General Naomi Cole. Uniform immaculate. Medals gleaming like sharpened truths. Shoulders squared with the weight of command. Not a hoodie. Not jeans. Not a civilian. A leader. A decorated general. A woman whose presence can break or rebuild nations. Dyer's mouth opens. No sound comes out. Keene feels his stomach drop straight through the floor. Naomi looks up. Recognition passes over her face. Not surprise. Not anger. But something colder. Control. She lets them stand there. Let the silence tighten around their throats. Let the weight of last night settle on their shoulders like chains. Then, "Gentlemen," she says, her voice calm but cutting, "you arrested me last night for talking back." Dyer swallows. "Ma'am, I." Her hand rises. He stops. Immediately. "Don't speak," she says. "You've done enough of that." The soldiers watching remain expressionless. But their silence feels like judgment. Like the walls themselves are disappointed. Naomi steps from behind the podium. Her boots strike the floor softly, but each step feels like a verdict. "This briefing," she says, "is not about what you did to me. It is about what you represent." Her gaze slices through them. "You are entrusted with authority, with protection, with judgment. Yet what I experienced last night was not law enforcement. It was ego." Keene flinches. Dyer is sweating now, though he tries to stand tall. "You refused to verify identification." A beat. "You refused to listen." Another beat. "You refused to de-escalate." Her voice remains low, controlled. But the quiet is worse than shouting. "General," Keene begins softly, "we." She turns to him, and he stops mid-sentence. "You," she says, studying him. "You hesitated. That matters. It means you still have a conscience beneath the badge." Keene nods, shame rising in his chest. Then she looks at Dyer. "And you." Dyer straightens, trying to appear unbroken. "You let arrogance replace procedure." She steps closer. "I have faced men who carried rifles, tanks, missiles. None of them spoke to me the way you did last night." Dyer looks at her, guilt creeping into his eyes. He whispers, "Ma'am, I didn't know who you were." Naomi steps even closer. Her face inches from his. Her voice barely above a whisper. "That's the point, Officer Dyer." And the room goes still. You could hear a breath drop. You thought my value depended on my rank. You thought respect was optional. You thought your badge excused your tone. Dyer's chest tightens. He opens his mouth. She doesn't let him speak. "The world doesn't need more men who shout," she says. "It needs more people who listen." She turns her back to them, walks toward the podium again. "Your punishment is not suspension." Dyer almost sighs in relief. "Your punishment is humility." He stiffens again. "You will spend the next 30 days serving veterans on this base," Naomi says. "Cleaning facilities, assisting at medical tents, shadowing counseling teams, listening to stories of people who earned every ounce of respect you denied." A murmur moves through the soldiers. Not defiance. Not amusement. Approval. "You will learn discipline," she says. "You will learn empathy. And you will learn that authority means service, not domination." She turns back to face them. "This is not revenge," she adds quietly. "It's education." Dyer bows his head. Keene stands at rigid attention. And in that moment, the truth hits both of them at once. They didn't just arrest a woman. They arrested a warrior. A decorated commander. A symbol of everything they were supposed to protect. Naomi lets the silence settle. Then she delivers the final line, soft as a blade sliding into its sheath. "Humility is a uniform too. And starting today, you'll wear it." The soldiers salute. Naomi doesn't move. Dyer's lips tremble. Keene whispers, "Yes, ma'am." And just like that, the punishment begins. Dyer thought cleaning would be easy, simple, embarrassing, sure. but manageable. He was wrong. Because the first morning on the base hits harder than handcuffs. The veterans' hall is quiet. Too quiet. Rows of folding chairs stand like ghosts of ceremonies past. Officer Keene holds a clipboard. Officer Dyer holds a mop. Dyer glares at the floor. "This is ridiculous," he mutters. "We're officers, not janitors." Keene doesn't look at him. It's 30 days. Could have been worse. Worse? This is humiliating. Keene's eyes rise, slow, thoughtful. Maybe that's the point. Dyer scoffs, but the truth itches his chest. They scrub floors, carry boxes, clean wheelchairs, fold blankets, move tables. Every veteran who passes stares at them with curiosity. Not mockery, just confusion. Why are the cops doing this? Why are they here? What did they do to end up on chore duty at Fort Ridge? And with each look, Dyer feels smaller. Keene feels quieter. Their badges don't shield them here. Their authority means nothing. Humility settles in like dust. A veteran in a wheelchair rolls toward them. Gray beard. Sharp eyes. A voice that carries history in its cracks. "You two the officers that General Cole disciplined?" Keene nods. Dyer tries not to shrink. The old man chuckles. "Well, she doesn't waste time. When Naomi teaches a lesson, you learn it." "You know her?" Keene asks. The veteran laughs softly. "Know her? Son, that woman saved my life in Kandahar. She led a rescue through open fire. Didn't blink once. You're lucky she gave you a chance to grow, not a discharge from the force." Keene absorbs the words. Dyer flinches, feeling something unfamiliar. Shame. Real shame. The kind that sticks. The veteran looks them up and down. When a soldier says you're humiliating the wrong person, believe them. Dyer's throat tightens. Keene whispers, "Thank you, sir." The veteran nods. "Just remember, every rank deserves respect. Even the ones you can't see." He rolls away. For the first time, Dyer has no comeback. They head toward the courtyard carrying stacks of folding chairs. Keene notices something ahead. General Naomi Cole stands near the memorial statue, quiet, unreadable, giving instructions to two base aides. Dyer nearly drops the chairs. Every muscle in his body tenses. Keene swallows. "Let's go around," he whispers. "No," Dyer mutters, trying to save face. "We walk past. She doesn't scare me." But his trembling hands say otherwise. They walk toward the courtyard. Slow, unsure. Naomi hears their footsteps. She turns. Her eyes, calm, disciplined, lock onto them. And in a single second, both men stiffen like raw recruits. Not because she's shouting. Not because she's angry. But because she doesn't have to be. Power isn't volume. Power is presence. She studies them. Dyer tries to stand tall. Fails. Keene lowers his gaze out of respect. Naomi finally speaks. "Officer Keene." He lifts his head. "Yes, ma'am. You're doing well. Keep learning." His chest warms. He nods. "Thank you, ma'am." Then she turns to Dyer. He braces himself. And she says the last thing he expects. "You look tired." Dyer blinks. Yes, ma'am." She steps closer. "Good. Growth is tiring. And humility is heavier than a badge." He tries to swallow, but his throat closes. "How you use the next 28 days," she says, "will determine who you are when this is over." She turns, begins to walk away. But then, she stops. Without looking back, she adds, "Respect doesn't start with rank. It starts with character." Dyer stands frozen. Keene exhales slowly. The moment hangs heavy, until a soldier rushes over with a clipboard. "You two," Change of assignment. Report to the therapy wing. Dyer frowns. What for? The soldier sighs. You're assisting with trauma support groups. Both officers freeze. What? Dyer blurts out. That's not our job. The soldier raises an eyebrow. General Cole's orders. And that shuts him up. The building smells like coffee and exhaustion. Veterans sit in a circle, some missing limbs, some missing sleep, some missing the pieces of themselves they left on battlefields. A counselor waves them in. You're the officers? Keene nods. We're here to assist. Dyer tries to look unaffected, but the room hits him hard. These aren't criminals. These aren't threats. These are people. War carved its initials into their skin. Pain rewrote their history. Trauma rearranged their futures. And yet, they look stronger than he ever felt. The counselor smiles gently. You'll hand out notebooks, water bottles, help with chairs. Keene moves quickly, respectfully. Dyer hesitates, because every veteran he passes looks at him with a strange mix of curiosity and disappointment. As if they know what he did. As if Naomi already told them. And maybe she did. He hands a notebook to a young man with shaking hands. What happened to you? Dyer asks quietly. The veteran lifts his eyes. IED blast. Helmand province. Dyer nods, unsure what to say. You military? The veteran asks. No. Police. The veteran studies him. So she sent you here to learn. Dyer stiffens. How'd you know? The man smirks. General Cole sends people to this wing when they need to understand pain, not enforce it. Dyer's breath catches. He feels exposed. Defensive. Small. Did she tell you what happened? He asks. The veteran shakes his head. She didn't have to. He leans closer. When Naomi Cole walks into this room, we stand taller. We breathe deeper. We feel safer. Dyer's stomach twists. It hits him. He treated a hero like a threat. The realization crushes him harder than any punishment. After hours of work, Dyer steps outside alone. Leans against a wall. Breathes hard. For the first time, the silence is loud. Keene walks up. You good? No. Dyer whispers. I'm not. Keene waits. Dyer runs a hand through his hair. I don't know why I acted like that yesterday. I don't know why I get so angry. Keene says nothing. Dyer's voice cracks. She looked at me, Keene. Not like she hated me. Not like she wanted revenge. She looked at me like she expected more from me. Keene nods. That's why she's a leader. Dyer wipes his eyes. I don't deserve this job. Keene puts a hand on his shoulder. Then earn it. Silence. Slowly, Dyer nods. As they walk back toward the hall, a soldier passes them in a hurry. The radio pressed tight. Face pale. Keene notices. What's going on? He asks. The soldier shakes his head. Not sure. Security's tightening around General Cole. Something's off. Dyer frowns. Off how? The soldier swallows. Someone filed an anonymous complaint against her. Something serious. Dyer and Keene freeze. Anonymous. Complaint. Against Naomi Cole. The soldier adds. Command's looking into it quietly. But if it's true, things are about to get messy. He hurries off. Keene looks at Dyer. Do you think? No, Dyer says firmly. No. Someone's trying to take her down. Keene nods slowly. But who? Dyer breathes out a name neither of them wants to say. Someone who knows she punished us. The tension thickens. The stakes rise. The story twists. And suddenly, these two officers realize something terrifying. Their mistake didn't end with an arrest. It may have started a war. The evening is quiet. Too quiet for a military base. The wind drags across the pavement like it's warning someone. Like it knows something the humans don't. Inside the veterans' hall, Officer Keene finishes stacking chairs. Officer Dyer wipes down the last row. Both are exhausted. But what they heard earlier keeps echoing in their skulls. Anonymous complaint. Serious allegations. Filed against Brigadier General Naomi Cole. Keene tries to break the silence. Maybe it's a misunderstanding. Dyer shakes his head. No. Someone's targeting her. This isn't a coincidence. Not after what happened with us. Keene exhales, worried. Who would risk going after a general? Dyer looks around. Someone who wants her power. Someone who hates her discipline. Someone who thinks she embarrassed them. Keene whispers, or someone who feared she'd expose them. Dyer stops cleaning. That thought hits too hard, too real. 2 MPs rush past the hall, talking fast and low. Locked her files, higher-ups want everything reviewed. Background investigation starting tonight. They're saying it could end her career. Keene and Dyer lock eyes. It's happening, and happening fast. Dyer steps toward the hallway. We should talk to her. Warn her. Keene grabs his arm. And say what? Hi, General, we heard someone's trying to take you down. We don't even know who filed the complaint. Dyer clenches his jaw. But we can't stand here and do nothing. Maybe for the first time in his career, Dyer isn't thinking about himself. He's thinking about the woman who faced him with calm power. The woman he disrespected. The woman he owes everything to now. As they leave the hall, the base PA system crackles. Security alert. Report any suspicious activity or unverified personnel. Level 2 watch initiated. Keene stiffens. Level 2. That's serious. Dyer's voice drops. They only call Level 2 when there's a threat inside the base. A soldier jogs past. Keene stops him. What's going on? The soldier lowers his voice. Someone tried to access General Cole's restricted files. Someone with a badge, but not permission. Dyer's blood runs cold. You think it's connected to the complaint? The soldier nods. Command thinks the complaint is planted. Nobody's saying it out loud, but it smells like sabotage. Then the soldier adds something that freezes them in place. And the person who filed the complaint used a police login code. Keene stops breathing. A police login code, attached to a false allegation, used against the woman they arrested. Dyer feels the ground tilt. Someone from our department, he whispers. The soldier sighs. Maybe. Or someone who stole a login. But either way, someone wants her gone. He hurries off. Keene turns slowly to Dyer. Do you think they're framing us? Dyer's breathing sharpens. They could pin this whole thing on us to protect themselves. And then he adds the part he fears most. And Naomi might believe it. Before they can leave the courtyard, boots echo across the concrete. General Naomi Cole walks toward them. Her expression is unreadable. Her posture is perfect. But her eyes carry a storm. Officers, she says calmly. Walk with me. Dyer and Keene obey instantly. She leads them down a quiet path behind the administrative building, the place where secrets walk the hallways and decisions shape futures. She stops beneath the flagpole. Wind tugs at her uniform. Her voice remains steady. You heard about the complaint. Not a question. A statement. Dyer nods. Keene swallows. Yes, ma'am, Dyer says. And we want to help. Naomi studies him. Long, silent, piercing. You were not the ones who filed it, she says. Both officers stiffen. How do you know? Keene asks. Naomi tilts her head slightly, because sabotage has a pattern, and desperation leaves fingerprints. She steps closer. Whoever filed that complaint wants me removed before my next deployment briefing. Dyer's pulse spikes. Why? Naomi looks toward the training field. Because some people fear accountability. She turns back. 3 weeks ago, I launched an internal audit. Corruption, missing supply shipments, stolen gear, misfiled weapons. Someone is bleeding this base for profit. Dyer breathes out slowly. You're investigating them. Yes. And the complaint. A distraction, she says. A weapon. Keen whispers. Do you know who? Naomi closes her eyes briefly. No. But they know me. They knew I would be driving home last night. They knew the patrol routes outside the diner. They knew which officers were likely to respond. Dyer's stomach twists. She looks directly at him. They knew your temper. He flinches. Naomi softens, slightly. They used you, Officer Dyer. Use your weakness as the first domino. Dyer stares at the ground. I'm sorry, ma'am. Naomi leans in. Don't be sorry. Be useful. He lifts his eyes. Strength returns to his posture. Yes, ma'am. They walk back toward the main building. But Keen stops suddenly. Dyer, look. Near the far gate, a man stands half hidden in the shadows. Tall. Muscular. Civilian clothes. Base entry badge clipped low like he wants it unseen. He's watching Naomi. Not casually. Not curiously. Intently. Predatory. Keen whispers. He doesn't look like a soldier. Dyer narrows his eyes. No. But he's definitely hunting someone. The man meets their gaze. Just for a second. Cold eyes. No guilt. No hesitation. Then he turns and walks away. Not fast. Not afraid. Just confident. Too confident. Keen moves instinctively. Should we follow him? Naomi raises a hand. Not yet. He wanted us to see him. Dyer frowns. Why? She scans the area. Because threats don't hide when they want to intimidate. They stand tall. They show you their faces. They let you feel the danger before it arrives. Her jaw tightens. And he wants me to know he's here. Keen and Dyer are assigned to evening cleanup at the supply depot. Halfway through organizing storage bins, Keen's radio crackles. Officer Keen, report to the admin immediately. Dyer raises an eyebrow. Are you in trouble already? Keen shrugs. No clue. He jogs out. Keen enters the administrative building. An MP nods him inside. Commander Holt sits at the table, stern, cold, impossible to read. Officer Keen, he says. Sit. Keen sits. Holt slides a folder across the table. Do you deny accessing General Cole's restricted files? Keen's eyes widened. What? I've never. I didn't. Holt cuts him off. We have a time-stamped record of a police login being used to enter her file system. Keen's pulse races. That wasn't me, sir. Holt leans forward. Do you share your login credentials with Officer Dyer? No. Do you leave your device unattended? No, sir. Do you believe Officer Dyer would sabotage a general's record? Keen freezes. The room tilts. This is a trap. A setup. They're trying to pit the officers against each other. Keen breathes hard. Sir, someone stole our credentials. We would never. Holt raises a hand. Enough. He gestures to the MPs. Take him to the store for further questioning. Keen's heart stops. 2 MPs approach. Keen stands, voice cracking. Sir, please, this is a setup. Someone's trying to take her down. But the MPs grab him, drag him out. His radio hits the floor. The door slams. Silence swallows the hallway. Dyer is in the supply room, wiping down a crate. His phone buzzes. Message from an unknown number. You should have kept your mouth shut. You and your partner were never supposed to talk to her. Dyer freezes. Then another message. One down. His breath stops. He drops the cloth. Runs. Fast. Toward the admin building. Because something horrible just happened. And in the distance, sirens begin to wail. Officer Dyer bolts across the courtyard so fast his boots slip. Every instinct screams. Keen is in danger. Naomi is in danger. Someone wants a body before sunrise. His radio crackles with overlapping chatter. Admin requesting all available. Possible breach. Lockdown Sector B. Dyer turns a corner and nearly collides with two MPs sprinting the opposite way. What happened? He demands. One MP shakes his head. Internal breach. Someone accessed classified files again but wiped the logs this time. We have to assume a rogue element on base. Dyer's chest caves. Rogue element. Not an outsider. Not civilian. Someone here. Someone with clearance. He runs harder. Keen's wrists are cuffed to a steel table. His breath fogs in the cold room. Sweat sticks to his temples. The fluorescent light flickers above. Commander Holt stands across from him, arms crossed, expression tight. Officer Keen, Holt says, this is your chance to cooperate. Keen leans forward. Sir, I didn't access anything. Someone used my login. Please, look at the timestamps. I was working in the therapy wing. Holt stares at him. You're implying a frame-up? Yes, someone's setting us up to get to General Cole. Holt doesn't blink. Who? Keen clenches fists. I don't know yet, but there's a man on base, tall, civilian clothes, watching her. We saw him tonight. Holt finally shows emotion. His jaw moves, just slightly, like he recognizes the description, but his voice stays cold. You're stressed, Officer Keen. Maybe overthinking. Keen snaps. Sir, someone is targeting her. You have to let me warn her. The room goes silent. Holt steps closer, leans down. Officer, there are high-ranking individuals who believe General Cole's leadership is controversial. Keen's stomach drops. You mean dangerous to corrupt people? Holt's eyes harden. That is not what I said. Keen whispers, but it's the truth, isn't it? Holt tightens his jaw. Then, the surveillance camera in the corner turns off. The room plunges into dim emergency lighting. Keen's blood runs cold. Holt whispers, you've already seen too much. Footsteps echo in the hall. Heavy, certain, coming closer. Keen whispers, Sir, please don't do this. But Holt simply turns toward the door. As it swings open, the tall man from earlier steps inside. The one from the shadows. The one watching Naomi. Keen's heart stops. Holt steps aside. Handle it. Dyer reaches the admin building. The door guard stops him. You can't go in there right now. Dyer pushes past. Arrest me later. He runs through the hallway. Down past the offices. Past the briefing rooms. Toward the interrogation wing. But just before he reaches the door, he hears something. A muffled yell. A crash. A struggle. Keen. Dyer shouts, slamming into the door. Locked. He rams it again. Again. His shoulder throbs. Inside, chairs scrape. Someone grunts. Someone hits the wall. Then, silence. Dyer steps back. Charges the door with everything he has. Boom. It swings open. He stumbles inside. And stops dead. The room is empty except for a single overturned chair. No Keen. No commander. No tall man. Just a pair of broken cuffs on the table and a smear of blood near the doorframe. Dyer whispers, "No, no, no, no." Then a voice behind him, "They moved him." Dyer spins. Naomi stands in the doorway, calm, deadly calm, a storm disguised as a soldier. She looks at the blood, then at Dyer. "Tell me everything," she says. And Dyer does. Every detail, every warning sign, every suspicion. When he describes the tall man, Naomi's eyes narrow. "That's not a civilian," she says. "That's Marcus Vale." Dyer frowns. "You know him." Her jaw clenches. "He used to serve under my command. Until I reported him." "What for?" Naomi's gaze hardens. "Selling weapons on foreign soil. Black market distribution. He vanished before trial." Dyer blinks. "So he's back. And targeting you." Naomi nods once. "He filed the complaint. He stole your credentials. And now," her voice drops, "he has your partner." Marcus Vale drags Keen down a restricted corridor. Keen's hands are zipped behind him now. His lip is bleeding. His steps stumble. "Where are you taking me?" Keen gasps. Vale smirks. "Relax. You're just a message." Keen spits blood. "What kind of message?" Vale leans close, to remind Naomi that she should have left him alone. "Left who alone?" Keen demands. But Vale doesn't answer. They turn a corner, toward an unmarked maintenance stairwell. Keen freezes. "No, no, please." Vale shoves him forward. "Walk." Back near the admin wing, Naomi and Dyer stride toward the restricted sector. "Ma'am," Dyer says, "what do you need me to do?" Naomi stops, faces him. Her voice is low, controlled. "Officer Dyer, this situation is about to turn violent." Dyer nods. "I can handle it." Naomi shakes her head. "You're unarmed, outnumbered, and you're a target, not a soldier." Dyer clenches his fists. "But Keen." Naomi steps closer. "You can't save him alone. Let me lead." He hesitates. But then he sees something in her eyes. Not anger. Not fear. Not vengeance. Strategy. Determination. Command. He nods. "Yes, ma'am." They move quickly. But then the lights flicker. Once. Twice. Then the entire base goes dark. Emergency alarms blare. Lockdown shutters slam into place. Screams echo from distant hallways. Naomi stiffens. Vale just killed the power. Why would he do that? Dyer asks. Her jaw tightens. To isolate his target. Keen. No. She turns. And for the first time, she looks afraid. He's here for me. Vale pushes Keen down the stairs. Keen hits the concrete hard. Groans. Vale steps over him. You cops think you own the streets. Naomi thinks she owns the army. But the truth. He kneels. Grabs Keen's collar. The people who really run things never wear uniforms. Keen stares back. You hurt her, and you'll never get out of this base alive. Vale laughs. Oh, I'm not going to hurt her. He stands. I'm going to ruin her. Naomi taps a secure code into her wrist communicator. Echo 3, respond. Static. Then. General, enemy movement near Sector D. Unknown hostiles. Dyer stiffens. Hostiles? As in, more than one. Naomi nods. Vale never works alone. She turns to Dyer. Listen carefully. If they capture me, this base falls into chaos. We need to split. No, Dyer snaps. We stick together. Naomi shakes her head. That's an order. Dyer's breath shakes. Ma'am, Keen is my partner. If he dies, I. Naomi puts a hand on his shoulder. You will not lose him. I promise you. He swallows. Yes, ma'am. She pulls her hand back. Her voice sharpens. We found him. We expose Vale. We shut this down tonight. Dyer nods. Their footsteps echo as they move deeper into the dark. And far below them, in the maintenance levels, Vale drags Keen toward the old boiler room, waiting for Naomi, waiting to spring the final trap, waiting to finish what he started 3 years ago, when Naomi Cole destroyed his career. The enemy is closing in. The base is shutting down. The truth is surfacing. The emergency lights flicker red across the hallways, turning every shadow into a warning. Officer Dyer follows closely behind General Naomi Cole as she moves through the darkened base like a predator stalking familiar ground. Her steps are deliberate, measured, controlled. Dyer whispers, "Ma'am, how do you know where he took Keen?" Naomi scans the walls, eyes calculating. Vale worked here for 5 years before he disappeared. He knows every tunnel, every blind spot, every room's cameras don't reach. So he's hiding in one of them. Naomi nods. He's forcing a confrontation. He wants me cornered. Why? Dyer asks. Naomi stops, looks him dead in the eyes. Because I'm the only one who ever beat him. A loud metallic thud echoes through the vents. Dyer jumps. Naomi doesn't. He's in the maintenance levels, she says. Let's go. The two move down a stairwell lit only by red emergency lamps. Shadows ripple along the walls. Dyer grips the railing. Ma'am, when you reported him, did you know he'd come back? Naomi nods once. Men like Vale don't disappear. They regroup. A pause. And return with a vendetta. The deeper they descend, the colder it gets. The louder the pipes groan. And then, somewhere below them, a scream. Keen's voice. Dyer's heart drops. Keen. Naomi grabs his arm. Quiet. Vale wants to panic. Dyer swallows, nods. And they continue down. The door is old. Steel. Paint peeling. A single emergency bulb flickering above. Naomi raises her hand. Dyer stops behind her. She opens the door slowly. The hinges creak. Inside, steam hisses through rusted pipes. The air is thick and heavy. The smell of old metal clings to the lungs. And beneath one of the pipes, Keen sits on the floor, hands zip-tied, face bruised. Ma'am, he whispers. Naomi steps toward him, and a single, slow clap echoes from the shadows. Clap, clap, clap. Marcus Vale steps forward, tall, smirking, confidence, wearing betrayal like a tailored suit. Naomi, always so predictable. Dyer positions himself between Keen and Vale. Let him go. Vale laughs. You think you're in any position to demand anything? Naomi raises a hand. Dyer stops. Vale circles them like a wolf. You really thought 30 days of chore duty would teach these two humility? Look at them. They don't fear you. Naomi's voice remains calm. Fear isn't leadership. And you wouldn't understand that. Vale grins. You ended my career with a single report. Called me unfit. Called me dangerous. You were, Naomi says. Vale's eyes darken. And now I'm returning the favor. He holds up a device, a flash drive. This contains every fabricated file you're being accused of. Every edited report. Every fake signature. By the time command wakes up tomorrow, your career will be ash. Dyer steps forward. You framed her? Why? Vale smirks. Why? Because she made me look weak. Because she chose loyalty over profit. And because she refused to play the game. He steps closer to Naomi. You humiliated me in front of the entire battalion. Naomi doesn't flinch. You humiliated yourself. Vale's jaw tightens. You don't get it. You can't just expose a man like me and expect to walk free. He points at Keen. This cop? He was supposed to be collateral. A proof she's unstable. That she assaults officers. But he fought back harder than I expected. Keen coughs. You're insane. Vale kicks him in the ribs. Dyer lunges. Naomi stops him again. No. Her eyes narrow. Vale. This ends tonight. Vale laughs loudly. You. Stop me. You're alone. Naomi. Nobody's coming. I disabled comms. Blocked exits. Shut down power. This whole base is a maze, and I hold the map. Naomi steps forward. Good. Vale frowns. Good. Naomi's voice lowers. I prefer when my enemies aren't hiding. The air changes. Vale stiffens. Before he can respond, Naomi strikes. It's fast. Violent. Silent, except for impacts. Naomi moves like a storm-taught discipline. Elbow. Knee. Palm strike. Vale stumbles back, surprised at the force. What? How? You forgot what training I come from, Naomi says. Vale throws a punch. Naomi dodges, grabs his wrist, slams him into a pipe. Steam bursts out. Vale screams as hot vapor burns his shoulder. Dyer rushes to help, but Naomi lifts a hand. No. She steps forward. This is between us. Vale swings again, wild, desperate. Naomi catches his arm, twists. He drops to his knees, breathing ragged. You ruined me, he growls. You ruined yourself, Naomi replies. She yanks the flash drive from his hand and shatters it beneath her boot. Vale screams. You think that was the only copy? You think I didn't prepare for this? And then, footsteps echo behind them. Dozens, heavily armed. MPs flood into the room. Commander Holt at the front, now pale, shaken, sweating. General Cole. We received an emergency signal. But then he sees Vale. See Keen. See Dyer. Sees Naomi standing over the man who tried to destroy her. And Holt's face drains of color. Naomi looks at him. Commander Holt, she says calmly, you're under investigation for aiding and abetting a fugitive, suppressing evidence, and enabling the sabotage of this base. Holt stumbles back. General, I didn't. Vale forced. Enough, Naomi says. Vale tries to stand. MPs tackle him instantly. Handcuff him. Naomi kneels beside Keen, cuts his zip ties. You did well, she says softly. Keen nods, breath shaky. Thank you, ma'am. She rises. Look at Dyer. And for the first time, she smiles. Officer Dyer, you showed courage tonight. Not arrogance. Not ego. Courage. Dyer swallows hard. Just doing what's right, ma'am. Naomi steps back, straightens her uniform, turns to the MPs. Take them both to the store. I want full confessions. The MPs move. Vale's screams fade as he's dragged away. Holt silently breaks down, hands trembling, as cuffs snap around his wrists. The boiler room goes quiet, except for Naomi's steady breathing. Except for truth settling into the walls. Sunlight floods the room. Naomi stands at the podium. Dyer and Keen in the front row. MPs escort Vale and Holt inside, shackled, defeated, unrecognizable. Naomi begins. Yesterday, this base faced sabotage from within. 2 men abused their access, their authority, and their soldiers. 1 out of greed. 1 out of fear. She turns toward Dyer and Keen. But 2 officers who made a mistake. I faced it. I learned from it. And protected this base when it mattered. Dyer bows his head. Keen wipes his eyes. Naomi continues. This courtroom will decide their fate. But respect is the foundation of every uniform, military or police. She pauses. And last night proved why. The courtroom stays silent, listening, breathing her words in like truth. Naomi looks at Dyer and Keene. You both served veterans with humility. You stood beside me when sabotage threatened our safety. And you helped dismantle a conspiracy larger than you realized. She lifts her chin. I hereby clear you of all accusations. Dyer's chest breaks with relief. Keene exhales, shaking. Naomi turns to the judge. As for Marcus Vale and Commander Holt, I recommend full court-martial proceedings. The judge nods. So ordered. The gavel hits. Justice lands. Quiet. Firm. Final. A memorial service. Flags at half-mast. Veterans seated in rows. Dyer and Keene help arrange chairs. No punishment. No shame. Just service. Naomi walks past. Dyer straightens. Keene salutes. Naomi pauses. Look at them. Her voice is soft. Respect isn't earned by fear. It's earned by how you treat those who already earned it. They nod. She walks on. The wind carries her words through the courtyard. And for the first time, the officers understand the weight of silence. Because silence is where discipline stands tall.